This is the year of the cat. I'm not talking about Al Stewart in 1976. I'm talking about Katt Williams. Because what Katt Williams started, if you dissect what he said, if you go back and listen to what he said, in this seemingly, I don't want to say innocuous, but in this interview on Club Shay, when you first hear this, you think, oh, okay, it was another interview. No, it was prescient, vadic, pythonic. It augured the future. It predicted. It was one of the most important messages ever. As Andrew Breitbart said, that politics is downstream from culture. And if you want to see what's going on in the world, you have to look for different signs and indications and hints and clues and indicia that occur elsewhere. If you want to see where the world is going, listen to music, watch TV. Go outside. Go to an airport and watch. Go to the baggage carousel. Look at people. You want to see where society is going? You don't read a book. You go to the mall. Find out who's not at the mall. Go to a mall and see who's carrying shopping bags. Notice how many security guards there are. Just you see indications of what's going on. On September the 11th, 2001, I was red-pilled. My life started. I was born again. Because I was here in New York when everything started, and my life has been on a different trajectory since that date. Because I realized that there are very powerful people who control the world that are not elected, you never hear about, you never know about, you're never told about. And in fact, there was a concerted effort on the part of a lot of people to make it sound as though you are paranoid or crazy or just plain out of your mind to even suggest for a moment that there exists a group of people who are in charge. And you can look at all levels. With the exception of sports, actual performance, that might be the purest meritocracy. Because you can have installments and sock puppets, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but you've got to perform. LeBron James may be the woke radical left dupe, but he is a tremendous talent, and his play and his points speak for himself, no matter how beneficial he is to some group of Illuminati or whatever. By the way, between us, don't use that term. It signals to people that you're crazy. Certain words you don't use. Chemtrails, say geoengineering. Illuminati, Weishaupt, no. Talk about the ruling class or the shadow government or the deep state or something. But don't use these words because these are triggers. These are trigger words and kind of microaggressions for people who have this absolute allergy against and towards anything they consider to be a conspiracy theory. But let's go back to this. Katt Williams talked about comedians stealing jokes, certain actors getting plum jobs, getting the recognition, others who are pretty much dismissed, who are not within the realm. Now you might say to yourself, well, that's entertainment. That's always been. No. These folks are part of a bigger cabal, a consortium, a cadre, a coven of people, a conspiracy, a confederation. Okay? Let me ask you something. Why is Oprah, and you can call him installed, Jason Whitlock talked about the fact that Stephen A. Smith was installed. Because Stephen A. Smith is a cretin. He's a subliterate moron who is there because of his bluster and braggadocious, brio. But the question is, why Oprah? What has Oprah done to amass this wealth? It's never Tyler Perry, Steven Spielberg. Now, Steven Spielberg, you can say, well, he's a little different, but sometimes they are warranted. George Clooney, Tom Hanks, great actors, but what propels them in the first place? Bill Gates. Do you believe the story that Bill Gates and, what was his name, Alan, decided to tinker about in their parents' garage, and they said, hey, we have this computer, and I think if we use this particular operating system, we can, well, do you think that had the government wanted to say, okay, that's ours, they could have shut them down in a heartbeat? But it's better to use a dupe an installed dupe to be the face of big tech. Offer them riches beyond any comprehension. You will be the face of this. Now move on and put your particular items and your particular devices in homes and businesses all over the world. But make sure that you leave a big hole so that viruses can get in, because we as the government want to be able to tap into this. Do you believe the official story of Facebook? Silicon Valley is absolutely 100% government created, government controlled. When we say government, it's not Washington, but shadow government, the ruling class, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call these people who run the show. In-Q-Tel was the investment arm of this. DARPA later came in. The future, by the way, if you think AI and AGI are Friday, you have no idea. That is the existential threat. We'll get to that later on. But not to digress. Katt Williams came along, and let me explain to you let me say something. And I'm going to say this in a way, I'm trying to be very careful. A lot of white people will look at Katt Williams, Lil Nas, whoever, and they will say, oh, here's another group of angry, inarticulate black folks with their stupid music and stupid fashion and stupid expressions and completely disjointed, disconnected, unimportant, gibberish. F this and end this and And they do that to their own, at their own peril. They've never understood hip-hop. They've never understood. They're not racist. They're just ignorant. They don't understand this. When I talk about Katt Williams, they look at this and they go, this guy's got kind of like a leopard printed do-rag and a lot of gold and rings. And what do you... And you know, Shannon Sharpe has an interesting delivery, a patois. Stephen Smith and others. You will hear kind of sometimes, I call it urban, a particular style. And a lot of white folks feel, and it's not because they're not racist. They just don't know. They have no conversance. The black community has always been over there, and it's kind of like an infantilized, you know, they whatever it is. American Bandstand, Soul Train. That's nice. You know, Life Magazine, Jet. Remember Jet was a... If I had to invest in a part of culture, I would be investing in everything black, African American. It might be too late. He might be, like, you call it chasing the stock, but you might be a little bit late. But what is happening in terms of the world of rap, hip hop, I guess hip hop, and I don't even know if we call it rap anymore. And again, this is not. I don't understand the interstitial aspect of it, but I understand the big picture. That's where I put my money. And by the way, the three areas that are completely just ignored by Trump and the Republicans are blacks, Latinos, and LG, gay and lesbian. Nobody even talks about lesbian anymore. It's all T. And they are a group that are pretty much conservative. I don't know if you listen to this, but listen to Katt Williams. He's a conservative, for lack of a better word. He's not some woke radical left. Lionel merch available. He's not a woke radical left, not at all. And what happened was he came along, he started it. Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Kimmel, another installed sock puppet, part of the chosen few who was put into this creation by virtue of this. And then Aaron Rodgers, and then this latest with Jason Whitlock, which kind of sort of came about. Jason Whitlock, who is the ostensible. There's always been this cottage industry called the black conservative. It goes back to, remember Armstrong Williams and Ken Hamlin and J.C. What's his name? J.C. Watts. versus J.C. Dykes, who I think was the manager of the Infernos in the 60s in the NWA, but I digress. There's a pocket of folks who they used to be called conservatives, but they're not. And they are a group of people that have been highlighted and showcased by Katt Williams. And you can dismiss him and his message at your peril. Believe me when I'm saying that. Now, do me a great friend, dear friend. Do me a great friend, dear friend. I don't know what that means. Do me a great favor, dear friend. First of all, have a great and glorious day. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And also, comment with your wisdom. Comment as you see fit.